Hey there, everyone. So we're here basically going to be talking about Hermes Agent, the desktop app. And I'm making this video for businesses who are not quite sure on how to start with Hermes Agent and are interested in automating processes but have no clue where to begin. So basically, we're going to start with the Hermes Agent desktop app. I'm going to be taking you to the beginner setup, the app itself, and really starting with our first business automation to see how we can use this in practice. Let's get into this. So here we are at the Hermes Agent newsresearch.com website. This is the official website of News Research, who are essentially the open source MIT licensed company behind Hermes Agent. And we're very grateful to them to making this open source so that we as the world can use it. And the way you basically want to download this is click on the button right here, download for Windows. It is the easiest way to set this up. If you've got Mac or Linux, you can also install it that way, but we are going to be installing it for Windows as that is the operating system that we're using right now. So once you go ahead and click on this, you will see that the installer will download. Click on the installer, and you see here that it's basically asking you to install Hermes. You click on that, and now we just wait till that is done. So now that Hermes Agent is installed, we can basically get started. So the first thing it's going to ask you is to choose a subscription. Now you've got several options. You can either go through News Portal themselves. They have got some free plans where you have free models available to you. These of course are less good. They got your plus plan, which is $20 per month. It's got 300 plus models. This will then include your big models such as Opus and GPT as well. Then you got Super if you want to have a lot of usage for it, and Ultra. But for us, what I would recommend to you is to essentially use your OpenAI ChatGPT account. The nice part with the ChatGPT account, which you pay just your normal $20, $25 subscription for. I don't know what it is exactly at this point, but you can then connect it to Hermes Agent and you can use the latest GPT 5.5 model on here for essentially uh, no additional costs. So this is the option that I'm going to choose. It essentially will ask you to log into your GPT account. I'm not going to show this to you due to privacy reasons, but once you follow the instructions, you will be good to go. So I've basically connected my ChatGPT 5.5 model, and yeah, you can basically click begin. So now we're basically looking at the app, and I want to explain a few things here. And basically to start, you can see that it looks kind of familiar. If you've ever used ChatGPT or Claude before, you can kind of see that it has a similar layout. So here you have your text where you can type in stuff, type in questions, you can type in tasks, whatever you might want to. You can add files, folders, images, URLs, prompt snippets, whatever you might need to. You've got your voice dictation here and what type of model we're using. On the left side, you will see what sessions you have, so what chats you've got going on. You can pin some of your chats if you want to. You can search for stuff within your session. So if you ever talked about dogs, for example, you can just click dog and it will then maybe potentially show up. And then we have some tabs here for new sessions. So if you click new sessions, it will start a new chat. You have your skills and tools. This is essentially all the skills that Hermes Agent itself has. So you can see that it basically has got skills for Cloud Code, Codex. So here it can delegate coding to Cloud Code, or it can delegate coding to Codex, which is GPT. It also has some other skills like Humanizer, so it humanizes the text. And the list kind of goes on. These are quite a few skills that they have coming naturally. You can, of course, add skills as well, but that's a video for another time. You also have particular tool sets. So these are the tools that Hermes Agent has. For example, text-to-speech, video analysis. You need to configure some of these if you don't have them configured already. X search, for example, which you can configure as well by adding a Grok API key and stuff of that sort, essentially. Then you've got messaging. This is how you could potentially connect your Hermes agent to the place where you operate. So if you, for example, work within Telegram or you just like using Telegram when you're on the go, you can then connect your Hermes agent to Telegram so that you can essentially speak to it within Telegram. Same goes for email, WhatsApp. As you can see, there's quite a few other options here, Google Chat. So whatever may work for you, you can then connect it to whatever you want. Again, not gonna go into this now because it's a video for another time. And then you've got artifacts. These are essentially things which Hermes agent looked up, found, images, files, links, etc., that it found during your sessions while you were busy talking to it. So this is essentially the basics of how Hermes agent looks like. Now, going back to what we discussed before, you've got ChatGPT model 5.5 over here, which we can speak to and say, hi. So now, of course, ChatGPT replied saying, hi, how can I help? What I want to basically highlight here is that you've got a context window. I don't know if you can see it properly, but at the very bottom, you can see here 16.1K out of 272,000. What that means is the context window is essentially all the context that GPT is able to hold within one conversation. If that reaches 272,000, then we're basically full and we need to start a new session. So of course you can track that here. That's a limitation that all models kind of have right now. Some models have a context window of 1 million tokens. ChatGPT only has it for 270,000. What you can also do is essentially make new profiles. This means that you'll be adding a new Hermes agent, so to speak, to your desktop. So you can have your default Hermes agent who you could rename if you wanted to, and you can give it a persona. So every Hermes agent has a soul.md where you basically can give it instructions of how you want it to reply. So if you're someone who likes very direct and harsh feedback and answers, you can ask it to be very direct with you. If you like someone who wants to be coddled, then you can ask it to be very nice and friendly to you. If you are, for example, Muslim or Christian or of faith, you can ask it to be religious to you. So it will reply back to you with potential Christian or Muslim values. And then we also have a cron job. So cron jobs are basically scheduled jobs. And this is important if you want to schedule a prompt or schedule a task to happen every day at 9 a.m., for example. You can see, of course, set that up within the chat itself, but then you can see all the cron jobs that you might have within this list. So that's the simple overview of Hermes Agent. And we're basically going to go now into how we can actually set it up to start working within our business. So now we essentially want to connect our Hermes agent to this web app called Composio. And what Composio is basically what it is that it's a tool which allows you to connect Hermes agent to 1,000 other apps. So as you can see here, you can connect to Gmail, Google Calendar, Supabase, Slack, whatever it may be. It's endless. So you can literally connect to anything you want. And the reason I want to do this is that we can basically give our Hermes agent actual access to the tools that we would use within our business. So we're basically going to want to come to this website right here. So composio.dev/Hermes. I'll put the link in the description as well. Basically, this is a copy paste which we can do within our Hermes chat. And this would essentially just download Composio or install Composio with our Hermes agent. So it's super easy. We don't need to do any work. So I already kind of did it myself. I just sent a a prompt saying set up Composio, just literally what it said over here, copy paste that. And then as you can see, it basically just thought for a few minutes and it came back with saying done, Composio set up in your local Hermes desktop profile. So it now has Composio tools. So these tools can basically call upon different apps. So it's basically telling us some useful apps that we may want to connect through Composio, GitHub, Gmail, Slack, Notion, etc., etc. So once you've done this, we can then go on to our next step. So now what we want to do is basically start with our first automation. And essentially, I can explain what we have here. We basically have this fake company, you could call it, Brandbridge Media, where this is a influencer marketing agency, and this is a CRM which contains all of the creators that this agency works with. And as you can see, it's just a CRM within Google Sheets. We basically have the status of it being qualified, the priority of it, the creator name, the YouTube URL, how many views and subscribers they've got, etc., etc. And usually this would need to be kept up to date by hand. We're going to make an automation so that whenever a new email comes in with a new influencer that wants to work with us, that it automatically gets added to the CRM. And this is just a small automation that we can make. So what we want to do is we want to go to Hermes Agent. We first want to ask it to connect to our Google Sheet. I want you to connect to Google Sheet. So what it's going to basically do now is go through Composio, figure out how we can connect to Google Sheet, and then send us a link that we can use to authorize the connection. So I basically skipped a bit forward, but I asked it to connect to Google Sheets, but because we connected to the MCP server, we had to restart our Hermes. So I then asked again with Composio, please connect to Google Sheets, and it's now asking to complete the Google Sheets auth here. So we click on this, and now it's basically telling us to choose and connect our Google account. So here, there you go, successfully connected. So now I can come back here. Now it says connected account, hello at brandbridge.media.com, status active. Great. Now also connect to Gmail. So now it's going to do the same thing where it's going to look into Composio, see if it's connected, and then send us a connection tool. Here you go. Now we click on this, same thing as we did before, connect your account, continue, and continue. Done. So we can close these two, and then we're basically back on our Hermes agent. So now we can start with giving the first cron job that we want to do. So let's just say I want you to automate the following. So every time there is a new email in our Gmail inbox that is related to influencers that want to work with us, please add them to the CRM that is found within Google Sheet. To be more clear, you can also give it the name. So the sheet is called Brand Bridge Media Influencer Roster. I also want to turn this into a cron job which executes every 5 minutes to check for new emails. So we've basically done this. And now it's basically going through how it's going to set up the cron job. And basically what we're going to do is basically send it a test email with a fake influencer to see if it adds it to the influencer list. And as we can see, I waited a few minutes and it basically executed the cron job. So here we can see that it was the first time doing it at 7:51, and at 7:58, this is the second time it did it. It didn't send us anything, but if we now go to the CRM, we can see that Daniel Brooks has been added to our CRM. And if you go to the email that we were looking at, my name is Daniel Brooks. I run a YouTube channel called Workflow Foundry. I don't know what this is, but I let ChatGPT come up with some random YouTuber. So you can see that has been added to the CRM with the information, all of the information that we could basically extract from the email itself. So this is an example of how you could automate your work. Of course, this is a very simple, primitive automation. Of course, it's just trying to get you triggered to think about some more complicated, fun automations that you could do within your business itself. So I hope this has been useful for you. If you do think that this maybe is, too difficult for you to set up and you really would like support in your business, you can always reach out to me to see if I can have a call with you and we can look at helping out your business to look at the bottlenecks, to optimize your processes, and then to see where AI automation could help you and save some time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been useful and see you guys next time.